In future, democracy will be able to not go into autocracy, to push people on the battlefield. I hope so. If we will be fighting another year, most probably we will unlock the technology where it's only robot war. You can produce enough the robots, and you can have sort of like people saying gamers, but real soldiers who understand how to, and they will be avatars on the battlefield. This is most probably the future. If Russia will not be that big, might be we will be much better in actually counter-offense rather than defense. So when we do something here, we need to think if Russia will copy it, what we will do. We need to show our technology only when we're ready. So once we think of the new technology, for us it's important to think on step 2, step 3, all of those countermeasures. So we should be already ready for their adaptation.
Where it is too dangerous for people, these robots take over. Ground drones from RoverTech help Ukrainian soldiers on the front lines. They carry heavy cargo, clear mines, and rescue wounded soldiers under fire. Borys Drozhak, the co-founder of the company, will tell us and explain how his team builds these unique machines. Russian forces can only dream of such high-tech solutions, so let's dive in. Borys, welcome to the studio. I'm glad to see you here for the first time.
Thank you very much.
So, Borys, you've been you're not a classic manufacturer. You've been an IT, doing a software engineer, and the Russia's war in Ukraine moved in a complete different direction of engineering. So your RoverTech company right now, where are you a co-founder? You're doing unmanned systems, right, for demining, for military logistics and other questions important at war. What solutions your company is solving right now? So
because the war is processing, of course it's been changing through the time, but I would say in 2 words that we are a defense company in war. It's not for peacetime. We're a company who is solving problems at war. It's very different from the rest. And we are finding a solution how to save people in kill zone. Basically, we have found out technology which can operate in kill zone efficiently, make the military missions, save lives, and make the counteroffense. This is in 2 words. But in the basic solution, in the basic words, it's you need to demine, you need time to time in firefight, because in a kill zone there is lots of FPVs. If your auditory don't know, it's a place where both sides can be dominated by FPV drones. It means that nothing can survive, not human, not trucks, not military vehicles, armored vehicles. So we need something which is much more efficient. And in this place you need also shoot, you need to evacuate, you need even take your comrades' dead bodies and evacuate it from the kill zone. So all of those operations, everything you think, even like to build something across the little river, now we're trying to do it without people in a way where we not lose millions of dollars.
So I mean, it's a cheap drones, or they are not cheap?
Let's say there is a kind of 2 directions.
Yeah.
But in both ways we can say efficient. Efficient is when the amount of missions made per money is reasonable. So we made it, it's not necessarily just cheap.
Okay.
Time to time it's efficient and can actually go there, make the thing, maybe survive. In our case we survive landmines, we survive FPV drops, some type of FPVs. We don't survive only some of the shootings. But if it's artillery, we most probably will be okay. Make the mission, get back.
Yeah, I was reading in one of your interviews that the question isn't about money and the price, but more about how many successful missions one drone can do and achieve. Okay, you said, Borys, about the kill zone, and you mentioned FPV drones, right? So how can we protect right now these ground drones from FPV? I mean, to what extent we can protect this machine that are, for instance, carrying wounded soldiers on it?
So I would divide it by several nuances. You think only of FPV, but in reality, it's not only the danger.
Okay.
So landmines also the danger.
Okay.
Could be that your ground vehicle with the wounded soldier move across, for example, 20 kilometers, and on a 10-kilometer it's stuck in a sand. So first thing, it's mobility. Second thing, the landmines. If you got even like little butterfly mine, which is very little, but you have a truck, and your truck got injured, your robot stuck. Your soldier, your comrade, in the middle of the kill zone, and the vehicle can move. So landmines is another problem. There is part of the problem where it's not FPV, but more like a bombers. Someone who drop in on you a bomb. They are not directly hit your vehicle, but they just making it outside. So this is another type of threat. You need to be protected from it. It could be artillery. Like it could be like regular stuff on a war. So your vehicle should be protected from debris. And a person inside should be protected from debris. Your vehicle should not lose the radio or whatever satellite communication. So your vehicle should be robust in terms of how many sources can make the controlling of it. So for example, if you need to hide from FPV, you go to a wood, like by the forest kind of, then your Starlink will not work. Means that you need all systems or spare communication channels. And then FPVs, and they also has different types. Some of the optofibers, some of the radio, some has the big explosion, some has the cumulative, called HIT in English. HIT is something which tank can survive. So you need to be more like smart about it. So for the most of the part, we solved. We solved even that our vehicle is not that visible, so it's hard to find. If you ask me why we add GPS, we add it because our people can't find the vehicle time to time. If they hide it, they can't find it on the map.
But I don't really understand. What do you mean it's not visible? I mean, through the air or just the color?
Yeah, basically why kill zone is that critical right now, because we have also surveillance drones.
Ah, okay, surveillance.
If you have ability basically see a whole kill zone, and it's why FPV is so effective, because they know where to go. And even if you see the whole territory, but there is like little ant, you need somehow to spot it, or by infrared type. There is lots of ways, or visual. And we build the vehicle in a way where it's hard to notice. It's very important as well. It's called small signature. So the less you're visible, the better. The less you will be target. It's even like the tracks you made help the enemy to track you where you're from. So all of this need to be solved.
Borys, we first met with you in 2024 in Lausanne at the mining conference in Switzerland. And that was a demining conference. We were talking about the machines that Switzerland are sending to Ukraine, but we also were talking about this equipment that can survive the explosions you just mentioned, the mines. What type of the explosions and mines your technology of RoverTech can resist and just survive?
So it's actually interesting because it's one of the reasons we are that successful with the logistical UGV. We started with the mining machine, and we made it in a way where it can handle the smallest mines with the best on the world coefficient, the rate, and the tank mine. So it could be like the biggest tank mine existed. We survive it with the vehicle, with the demining machine. And then from the demining machine, we move to the logistical. We basically leave almost everything which is making it that robust. And if you ask me, will our vehicle able to survive some transport mine and all of it? Answer is yes, in most cases, except tank mine. We had even cases where we fully lost two wheels and we still made the mission and get back. So this is very important, the way you build the UGV, so it survives all of this.
When you think about the Russia's war right now, do you think it's primarily about manpower, about artillery, or more and more about all these engineering cycles where which side is adapting faster, they can sustain longer?
Well, I would say It's much more complicated than this. In 2 words, we have a great chance as a democracy to not make war with the people, but with the robots. There is a huge chance that in future democracy will be able to not go into autocracy, to push people on the battlefield. I hope so. If we will be fighting another year, most probably we will unlock the technology where it's only robot war. Most probably. There's a very good chance.
But you are the first person telling me that. Lots of people were saying that it's not possible. A lot of generals from around the world, they were like, no, I mean, human resources and, manpower will never replace technologies and AI. And I was thinking
not AI. It's not about AI.
Okay.
It's like in a war, why some side is better? Because they're more creative, or they find the way this operates and find the countermeasure. When it's AI or any type of algorithm, it's easy to predict, means it's easy to defeat. Okay. So it's got to be like, let's say not robots, but avatars. Maybe this will be easier for NATO generals, but most probably we will have avatars where people operate with their skills, understanding. They can trick the computers or can use the computers. This is more in this direction. So if we must probably unlock it, honestly. It means that democracy, if it's a good, thriving place, where lots of technology, lots of production, creative people, freedoms and all of it, you can produce enough the robots, and you can have sort of like people saying gamers, but real soldiers who understand how to, and they will be avatars on the battlefield. This is most probably the future.
Seriously.
This is exciting, right?
See, I'm like a pause on my face.
I hope because we save democracy, or like an avatar.
Oh, wow.
But it means that robots need to save robots. Your first ask to me, which I didn't answer yet, it's how we can protect the UGV from FPV.
Yes.
And it actually should be done by robots, most probably. You can't put the person there and like somehow kill FPV. It's not effective even today. We see places where it's not possible for a person to be in a kill zone. Kill zone, it seems like a place where human is not really efficient. And we need to substitute it. We need to substitute even on the first position where we have people and reduce the amount of them as much as possible. Because we can do some sensors, we can do lots of interesting technology to substitute. Maybe it will be 10% of what we have today.
So can your ground drones do the work by themselves without human involvement? So
let's say at the very beginning, no. Because it's almost impossible without the human maintenance, changes, and operations. Though, let's say that lots of operations today already substituted. We already substitute the mining, we substitute the logistical operations. There are no people involved in this. Even like time to time the river, and you need to make the pass with the ZMI UGV. We have the, I don't know the English word for this, but it has the automative thing, which is basically making the path.
You mean snake?
Yeah, our UGV call it ZMI. In
Do
English,
you translate it into
in English? No, we just like that.
Okay,
because
it's not snake, right?
Yeah, it's one of our co-founder name. He died, unfortunately.
Okay.
And we name it, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So we left it as me. It should be like this. So we substitute a lot of those things, but even more. If you will talk about the UGV with the guns, strike UGV we call it, now it substitutes not just person, it substitutes entire group. So for example, ZMI droid with the Browning M2, it is able to hold positions without people. And in the past, you need lots of people to hold the Browning. You need people who will be maintain the position. And we need robots now to bring food, to bring, ammunitions. So this is a huge, huge thing. And now we can substitute with 1-2 robots because they don't need food, they don't need water. They need to go there, fight, get back for the maintenance, rotate. We will be rotating robots, not the people.
Yeah, because my colleague, she was asking me, ask Borys whether the robots will replace infantry in a visible future.
Infantry, is it? Sorry, my English not that well.
No, I mean the soldiers, basically. I mean, yeah, that's interesting. Could you just tell me about the very successful ZMI mission recently? The one that you can describe, especially when it comes to wounded soldiers.
So for wounded one, let's get it from this position. For the wounded one was nice case at 59 Brigade.
Yeah.
It was basically 30 meters. 30 meters is at the end of the studio. It's very, very close. They were Russians. They were with the Kalashnikov AK.
Seriously?
Yeah, they shoot at our robot where guys put their comrade. They shoot 2 magazines in the robot. Robot get out. They shoot about 7 or 8, I don't remember exactly, artillery shots, 152 shot. Then the robot got on a landmine. Meanwhile, the guy in the robot. Everything is happening. The artillery shot, so you understand, even if it's 7 meters from the UGV, it has so big debris, people here will be died. Like there is almost no chance. Plus it's very, very loud. So it survives all of it. It go on a landmine, explode, survived, move forward. Guys there was like getting out, getting out because it's wounded.
But he managed to go up to the drone, right? The ground drone.
And we still been operating it. Okay. So folks been holding the positions while the robot, without people, evacuate the wounded person. Then FPV got into the UGV. So all of this, imagining being there, you had lots of those. There was a Russian group called Rubicon that trying to kill the robot with our soldier. So it survived an FPV. We lost Starlink at the time. Basically online, we figured out how to move forward. We move forward and move out of kill zone, and then folks evacuate him to Dnipro, if I remember correctly at the time. And everything was like he survived. Not just survived, folks being able to hold the position. They were not distracted. They're not, because in the past, 2 people need to go with the wounded. Now they've been able to hold everything. So this is one of the successful, and we have lots of these cases.
Lots of these cases. What is the speed of the ground drone?
So it's this actually matter of we usually don't specify it correctly. Okay. Usually we try to try to avoid exact numbers. Though you can imagine that the UGV could be from 6 kilometers per hour to 40 kilometers per hour. It very depends on. In our case, it's a middle.
But they used to say that this Ukraine is more adaptable and learning faster and shows creativity and flexibility on the front line because this is the side who's defending itself, not attacking. And through history, those sides that have been attacked, they usually, showing this creativity. But if you're going to look at Russians, at what type of drones, FPV, reconnaissance, ground drones, where they are good at. I mean, we have to admit they are not as stupid as we want to think
of course.
They are, but they unfortunately not. So just could you elaborate on that a little bit?
You asked me in the past another question like how it happens, why we're so fast. I'm trying to answer the previous question plus this one.
Yes.
So first thing, I don't think the defense side always the most creative.
Okay.
It's not always the case. Time to time, the attack side is more creative, especially with some sort of technology breakthrough. And even now, with the things we have, if Russia will not be that big, might be we will be much, much better in actually counteroffense rather than defense. I'm not 100% sure about this statement.
My point was because when the United States, which is like times more bigger than Iran, attacking Iran, Iran shows kind of a creativity, especially with the Shahed drones. So that was my point when the side is...
They did it even before
the attack? Okay.
Yeah, and it's actually a offense weapon.
Okay.
You can use it as defense, yes, but it's very offense.
Predominantly offense.
Yeah, and they just were not ready, and not ready for the other stuff, but yeah. So I would say why we're successful, because it's a combination not only by technology. There is a experience, soldier creativity, a use of your metal. Because any technology eventually is just a piece of metal, honestly, if it's not used in a way, or you predict it, or in our case, our soldiers make it actually work. Mm-hmm. It's not always the technology is that good, honestly. Time to time, our people, our brigades, and there is lots of very smart people, they make it work in a way we never anticipate. Second, the technology to make it well, and something you're not expecting, it's this part of managing. We're actually very good at making lots of different technologies, more or less good at selecting them eventually, giving someone chance, second chance, and it all in a combination, it works well. Russians don't have this third part at all. Time to time, they don't have this one. And always, they have the technology. They have much more institutions, the factories, the resources to make the scale. We're not always that good here. And for us, we invented it first. We make the whole work to find what is actually working. For them, it's just to copy and make the serial production. So when we do something here, we need to think if Russia will copy it, what we will do. We need to show our technology only when we're ready, you know. So we're kind of not in the best position. Though for defending, it's much easier right now. We have some of the technology they don't have, even satellite.
Yes.
This is a huge advantage. It's a huge advantage. For us, we don't need to think about lots of things, but versus they need. Which is also not always good, because eventually they will solve this, and we should be ready as well. I don't know if it's answered your question, but
that's a good one.
Very complicated system.
That's a complex one. So basically, how much time do we have between creating something new, testing basically that on the battlefield, and then Russia is adapting to that one, and we have to think something new, as you said.
I will give you an example and answer on some of the previous questions I didn't. Yeah. So counter FPV for the UGV. Can something protect? Imagining we create the thing which has ability to find the FPV targeting on you and then shoot it. And it could be by bullets, it could be by some of the any type. Let's say it be by bullets. Very easy. Yeah, we found there is a turret with AI which is trying to shoot, and it's, for example, I don't know. It's we don't have it. But imagining we have here the UGV,
yes,
and here the FPV. This is a maximum zone where the bullet can shoot. We have this technology. At the beginning, we win a bit of the war. For example, months or 2 or 3. They know that it's here. So now, with this FPV, what I will be doing as a Russian soldier, I'll trying to be in this zone and trying to see when it started to shoot. Okay. I'll trying to be like here, try to wiggle. So this is not shooting until it's got out of the ammunition. So if we invented this, sooner or later they will do the counteroffense. Mm-hmm. Or they will do the, I don't know English word for this, but they do different shape of the FPV, so our AI is not able to see it, or they do a different color, or like some kind of lines which will break our AI. So they will find out a way. We can find out a way. So once we think of the new technology, for us it's important to think on the step 2, step 3, all of those countermeasures. So we should be already ready for their adaptation. In our technology should be able to evolve in a way we countermeasure their countermeasure. So this is like 3-6 months. Time to time, we can win 9 months, but not more. Because it's a war. In a war, it's a person, human against human, it's never been that easy. It's always constant evolving.
Constant evolving. But did you have the moment when when the feedback from the front line completely changed your product? Like you're like, wow, it doesn't work like at all.
No, not like
okay,
this. Yeah, but yeah, it happened when Killzone got out of 2 kilometers. It was like 5 at the time, and our radio didn't work out well, because any radio horizon, and they will lose the connection, and we will need to do the mesh, it's called, some of the towers to back up the radio. So once the kill zone got out quite fast, yeah, we've been in a situation where they can't use it. It's the same Russians has right now, but it's a year and a half we had this problem. They started having it only now.
Okay.
Yeah, and kill zone is like, it's substantial right now. It's very big.
How many your drones right now on the battlefield?
Alive? It's different. So it's about 1,000 these days.
Okay.
Thousands been issued, but yeah, alive is
and
much.
Mostly on what direction?
Oh, this everywhere. Like,
everywhere.
It's very famous product.
Okay. What about what about Western partners? Just yeah, because sometimes when we're talking about the private military companies in Ukraine collaborating with the West, it's a bit, I don't know the right word for it, kind of a shady. I cannot understand with whom we're collaborating. Germany, Scandinavian countries. I just don't get it. So do you have any investments from their collaboration?
Well, I would say, how to say it correctly, though with RoverTech, I can say for us, first of all, we've been trying to not take investors outside, not take investors at all, to be honest, to be flexible. It's much easier for me to explain Vasyl Kurenyovsky, the another co-founder, he's a veteran, why we need to, gift some of the products, and he as well, he don't even like think of will owner or investor be upset that we give 5 of UGV for free to some brigade to test some functionality because we will not earn some money. For us, it's much easier, not involve any investor, and we don't involve outside investors, because in this way we hold the technology for Ukraine. Government will be able to use it to sell as a solution, not as a metal. It's much better money, much more involved. It will pay off for the soldiers who actually make it happen, because without them we will not make this great product. There is no way. So we will be able to pay off. So for us, what we do with outside of Ukraine companies, if they have a piece of technology which we can use in a very tricky, interesting way, we should collaborate, make co-products, stuff like this. That's great. And we can make a joint venture in Ukraine. This is ideal. Yeah, of course, it's a more risk, but in this case, we understand that they actually in a war. They're not like outside thinking, making meetings. There's a different pace here, different price. If you're not making something good, people die here. If you make product, you advertise it well, but it doesn't work, people die here. So for us, it's important the involvement, the high involvement from outside. And not everyone ready. Some big companies, they have a policy where they can't even like travel Ukraine. So it's hard to collaborate.
It's hard to collaborate. But do you feel a lot of responsibility for such a product you're making?
Of course, it's the one reason only. Actually, I'm working on it. I had a good life before, honestly. Like, I don't need anything of it. That's the only reason, because if you build something important, and on average, some of the brigades, famous brigades, say that on average, ZMI could save about 100 people. If they operate well and not destroy it very fast, they will save about 100 people because they're not exposed in a kill zone. This is very important to do the work. If we build something, it should work, it should scale, evolve. There is no way.
Your RoverTech company as a private company that are developing right now actively, and also our government and bureaucracy, how it's all together working right now. Are you satisfied with all that? I mean, I just want to hear it. Where's the room for improvement in that?
Oh, there is. Let's say there is lots of people who work on the government side. Yeah,
Yes.
It's not a government, right? It's our Ukrainian people in the government system who help us, or vice versa. In reality, most of the things we developed been done in a very good direction. Lots of things helped us. Without the government money, our people money, right, who with taxes pay, will not do anything because they pay for most of our inventions eventually. Yeah, at the beginning all our money, but later on we have the orders. So for this all, thanks very much. There is lots of improvements. Thank you. There's lots of things to do. But I would say that Russians have more money and they help their inventors much bigger, honestly. If we will have some predictability, it will be great. First 4 months of this year, we lost because government were not able to pay the contract. We lost so much, you can't even imagine how many technologies and the amount of them we will be able to do if we will not lose this. So one thing, it's predictable year-plus contracts. So we can somehow smooth, we can do layers of here is the product which is in serial production, here is a new inventions, here is something we can add. You know, for us it's very important. It's not that easy for companies for 2 years, 3 years to produce that much as we need. And we are able. We just need money and predictability.
Well, I hope in a visible future, our government will give you that kind of a predictability. I hope they are working on that direction. Well, at this stage, Borys, thank you so much for everything, your insight and a lot of understanding how these machines are important, how do they work, how do they operate. Thank you for everything you're doing right now. And yeah, I wish you luck in your work.
Thank you. What are you doing?
Thank you.